Back at it again, and we have another one with Thomas Sowell. Let's dive in.
Tiger Woods doesn't owe me an apology. Nothing that he has ever done has cost me a dime nor an hour of sleep. This is not a plea to be non-judgmental. I am very judgmental about all sorts of things, including Tiger Woods' bad behavior. But that is very different from saying that he somehow owes me an apology. For all I know, my neighbors may be judgmental when I drive out of my driveway in a 15-year-old car. But they have never said anything to me about it, and I have never offered them an apology. This is not equating driving a 15-year-old car with what Tiger Woods did. But the point is that any apology he might make should be made to his family, who were hurt, not to the public, who might be disappointed in him, but not really hurt. Public apologies to people who are not owed any apology have become one of the many signs of the mushy thinking of our times. So are apologies.
I completely agree with that, because we have seen that all over the place. It is crazy. That person doesn't owe you an apology. You had no involvement in that. Zero. Like he said, Tiger Woods owed, when that whole Tiger Woods situation went down, he owed his family an apology, not any of us. It's not even really our business. Now, of course, he's a public figure, yada, yada, yada. You can get into that whole sort of thing. Sure. Can we be disappointed? Sure. He doesn't owe us an apology, though. But there are a lot of people in society, unfortunately, that felt that he owed them an apology. It's like, what? It's ridiculous. That is absolutely stupid. I'm sorry. It just is.
Have become one of the many signs of the mushy thinking of our times. So are apologies for things that somebody else did. Among the most absurd apologies have been apologies for slavery by politicians. For one thing, slavery is not something you can apologize for, any more than you can apologize for murder. If someone says to you that he murdered someone near and dear to you, what are you supposed to say? No problem, we all make mistakes? Not bloody likely. Slavery is too serious for an apology, and somebody else being a slave owner is not something for you to apologize for. When somebody who has never owned a slave apologizes for slavery to somebody who has never been a slave, then what began as mushy thinking has degenerated into theatrical absurdity, or, worse yet, politics.
It makes me think of, there was a video that I checked out. There was a lady, I want to say in like a church, and she made like all the white people stand up and apologize to the black people that were in there. Like, yo, what type of weird BS is this? Like, if I'm in there, like, get me out of here ASAP. Actually, I might have just been frozen. I might have just been in so much shock I wouldn't have walked out. I would have just been like, what is happening? You know, it would have been one of those shock and awe moments where you're just stuck. And I said this before, if my grandfather did something to you, to your grandfather 40 years ago, however long ago, I don't care if it was yesterday, I have nothing to do with it. I am not apologizing to you for what somebody else did. Nah, not doing it. Maybe if I want to, you know, yeah, my bad, you know, he's an idiot, I'm sorry, you know, kind of situation, but I'm not responsible for it, and you can't force me to apologize for it. If I want to, sure, you know, all right, cool. The whole thought process behind a lot of this stuff is just stupid. You need to apologize for what somebody else did. No, I don't, and I'm not going to.
Slavery has existed all over the planet for thousands of years, with black, white, yellow, and other races being both slaves and enslavers. Does that mean that everybody ought to apologize to everybody else for what their ancestors did? Or are the only people who are supposed to feel guilty the ones who have money that others want to talk them out of? This craze for aimless apologies is part of a general loss of a sense of personal responsibility in our time. We are supposed to feel guilty for what other people did, but there are 1,000 cop-outs for what we ourselves did to those we did it to. Back in the 1960s, when so many foolish ideas flourished simply because they were new, a New York Times columnist tried to make the case that we were all somehow responsible for the assassination of President Kennedy. That was considered to be deep stuff. It made you one of the special folks when you believed that, instead of one of the rest of us poor dumb slobs who believed that the man who shot him was responsible. For more than a century, the intelligentsia have been trying to get us to focus on the root causes of crime, supposedly created by society, instead of locking up thieves or executing murderers. If some people don't have the money or the achievements of others, that too is society's fault, in the eyes of those for whom personal responsibility is an outmoded idea. Personal responsibility is a real problem for those who want to collectivize society and take away our power to make our own decisions, transferring that power to third parties like themselves, who imagine themselves so much wiser and nobler than the rest of us.
WEF conference.
Aimless apologies are just one of the incidental symptoms of an increasing loss of a sense of personal responsibility, without which a whole society is in jeopardy.
True.
The police cannot possibly maintain law and order by themselves. Millions of people can monitor their own behavior better than any third parties can. Cops can cope with that segment of society who have no sense of personal responsibility, but not if that segment becomes a large part of the whole population. Yet increasing numbers of educators and the intelligentsia seem to have devoted themselves to undermining or destroying a sense of personal responsibility and making society responsible instead. Aimless apologies are just one small symptom of this larger and more dangerous attitude.
So, Thomas Sowell once again dropping some truth bombs on us. Public apologies are stupid, especially if you aren't involved in what happened. Doesn't make any sense. Somebody apologizing for slavery that they didn't do or weren't involved in to somebody who never was a slave. How does that even make any type of sense? And I want to say I touched on this in a video just the other day with a young lady who wanted to throw, well, we were slaves, and no, you were never a slave. You can't be a day over 35. You were never a slave. What are you talking about? That is just absolutely ridiculous. That makes no sense whatsoever. So, yeah, that whole thought process is wild. And I agree with him in terms of just people not wanting to take responsibility for themselves or accountability for themselves. And what I would like to tell those people is the only person responsible for you is the person you see in the mirror. That is it. Whenever you feel like you're not successful enough or whatever success looks like to you, the person in the mirror is the one responsible for it. But personal responsibility has become a taboo topic. Everybody's responsible for everybody. No, I am not responsible for you or your family. You know, that's not my responsibility. We are responsible for our own selves. Like, I don't understand why that's a foreign concept, but I feel like it's starting to really become a foreign concept. Personal responsibility and accountability. It's weird. It really is weird. But Thomas Sowell, speaking facts once again, which is why he could never be taught in schools. I never knew about Thomas Sowell until more recently. Never heard his name, nothing. Never heard of him on TV, ever. I don't ever remember hearing any type of news about Thomas Sowell, anything, nothing. Isn't that weird? Don't y'all agree? That's a little weird, right? Nothing? Not even like a hint? It's like he's a ghost. It's crazy. But y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. And once again, thank you guys for all of the continued love and support, all of the comments, all of the likes. Thank you guys for always hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right? Peace and love. I'm out.